It does help pass the time, and at the very least, it's helped drive some evil thoughts away. I love Mills. Have you two had a good time playing?
Yes, a very pleasant time.
I hope your brother Samuel brings interesting news when he returns. It's already dark, so I expect he should be here any time. Oh, there he is now.
I'm so glad to find my sister in such pleasant company. How are all you fair maids of Salem this evening?
Very well indeed. We have had a very busy time while you have been off delivering cargo. We have cared for the sick, performed numerous charitable acts, and still had time for some magical experiences. I doubt you can bring your time to such good account, even with your deliveries.
Indeed not. You have employed your time much better. Mine has been spent principally watching the south end of 2 horses.
Samuel!
I do hope everything went well for you.
Better than I expected.
You look well. Did you have any encounters with the Indians that are causing trouble north of here?
None at all. We are fortunate that the French have stirred up trouble with them principally in Maine so far.
I almost forgot. My mamma sent a letter with a postscript from your grandfather. Here it is. 'Tis best that you read it for yourself.
Bethia, this message pertains to a cargo we thought might need transporting this trip. I have to stable my horses. It would be great help if all of you would come with me and we can make light work of it.
We would be glad to help. You must be tired from your journey. We can meet you in the stable at once.
Jane, I'm not sure how much you have surmised about what we are doing.
I believe I have a reasonable understanding and am prepared to help. I know your grandfather's feelings on what is going on with these trials, and I think you know my father's feelings as well.
That is well. Based on the message to Jane, we have little time and must act tonight.
I am not sure what this is all about.
I do not wish to frighten you, but the message I have received from my grandfather informs me that you are to be charged with witchcraft tomorrow.
I didn't imagine things could get worse, but if that were to happen, I think it would be more than my grandfather's heart could take. My dear Janie, my grandfather and other good men are working to find a legal way to put an end to these trials. However, they need time.
Yes, Miss True, and to buy them that time, the cargo I have been transporting has been principally those that are about to be caught up in the witchcraft trials. We are determined to stop these senseless deaths one way or another.
But where would I go? And what about grandfather and grandmother? If you are arrested tomorrow, you can be of little aid to them.
We are prepared to take you to my grandfather's land holdings west of here, which is named Framingham.
I've heard of Framingham, but still, what of my grandmother?
I have obtained new information concerning your grandmother. I took the chance of riding to Judge Corwin's last night and spoke with your grandmother by way of a barred window to her locked room.
Oh, how is she?
She is holding up well considering the circumstances.
That was a very dangerous undertaking.
It was absolutely necessary. And that brings me to my next point. I have good reason to believe that the groom who is functioning as Mrs. Bradbury's jailer will be at the Ship's Tavern tomorrow evening.
But what about Mr. Corwin and his family?
His family is away in Boston, so it should be the perfect opportunity to sneak her out under cover of darkness.
It is a very daring plan, but it might just work.
This news is better than I could have ever hoped.
Samuel, it all relies on your returning by tomorrow evening to take Mrs. Bradbury.
This can definitely work. However, I will need to leave with Miss True as soon as I change these horses.
But I will need to tell my grandfather what is happening. Don't worry about that. I will speak with your grandfather and let him know everything that is occurring. Bethia, you are all kindness.
While you're ready in the horses, I will run back in and collect Janie's cloak and whatever else I can conveniently bring.
My room is the next one past yours. Are you sure I shouldn't go and help you?
No, 'tis best that you remain here. I still have to pack Janie's belongings. Nothing here. That should be everything. There, all packed. Here is what I could find quickly for you, Janie. We will send the rest with your grandfather tomorrow.
Thank you ever so much.
We have trouble. While you were gone, some people have gathered outside talking who will surely see us leave, and we could have no explanation for our departure. You can imagine what would be said tomorrow when they come to arrest Miss True and they have seen me leave with her.
Bethia, you come with me while Janie and Samuel finish getting the horses ready. I have an idea how to encourage those people to busy themselves elsewhere. Samuel, when you hear the commotion, that is your cue to leave.
We will be ready.
The suspense is killing me. Why did you have us both put on our black cloaks and hoods and bring our black scarves?
I have an idea we might both be spectres tonight and scare the people blocking Samuel's route into running away.
How do you propose to accomplish that feat? With the sky overcast, it is so dark, no one will even see us.
By the application of natural substances to our scarves. Please hand me your scarf and I'll show you. If we apply this glowing foxfire to our scarves like this, you can see the effect it has. We put our scarves over our cloaks. The effect should be quite unnerving. All that is left is to walk out of the woods towards the people and watch them scatter.
Wondrous! This might actually be fun!
Yes, it might. Are you ready?
Whenever you are.
Let's go.
It's awfully strange because no one's been there before.
Look there!
Spectres.
That worked better than I could have ever expected, and Janie is off to safety.
Such good fortune!
And if anyone asks, we know exactly where our spectres were this evening. Now all we need to do is fold our scarves over to conceal the glow and walk back into the ordinary and go to bed.
So simple, but so effective.
Yes, I think we both deserve a good night's rest after a very busy day. I should put on my nightgown first. All set, time for bed. Tonight was wondrous. This has the potential to be a long but rewarding day. I can't forget my bonnet. What will I wear today? Very nice. All set.
Good morning, Jane.
How are you this morning, Bethia?
Very well, and still a little amused at our excursion last night.
It was quite exciting to see everyone's reaction. Have you spoken to Mr. Bradbury yet?
I left a note in his room telling him I had news and to come knock on my door when he returned.
What did he say?
He was both surprised and relieved at the same time. He said he would continue with collecting signatures today so that no one's suspicions would be aroused. I believe he is ready for anything and most grateful.
That is excellent news. Do you have word on how Rebecca Preston is faring this morning?
Not much improved, I'm afraid.
I know she has some cakes that need to be baked and delivered today. What would you think about visiting her and taking on that task?
I think that would be splendid. But how did you know about the cakes?
Actually, Corwin informed me that he would need cakes as usual.
I'm sure he did it in his inimitable way.
Well then, let's go.
Rebecca keeps her sifted flour and baking tins in the cabinet over there.
I hope these cakes meet Judge Corwin's standards.
Yes, Mrs. Corwin doesn't have Rebecca's way with the oven.
I'll get started while you look in on Rebecca. I hope you find her better this day. It looks like some of the goods that Mrs. Preston exchanges for her candles have been delivered. This looks like the flour. This looks like the cake tin. Ah, the sugar. We will need these eggs. Salt. Looks like there's enough butter. Buttermilk. This must be the yeast. This is the mixing bowl. That takes care of the flour. Sugar is added. Salted. Those look mixed. That takes care of the butter. Wait, this goes in the bowl. Eggs always make a cake better. This is a nice recipe. Perfect. That should do it. That looks about right. Now to mix it all together. Very nice. Everything is mixed. Perfect. I will start another cake while that one is baking. All done. These came out great. I can see why people love Rebecca's cakes, and they smell wonderful.
You're already done? You are so quick in the kitchen.
Today it was truly a labor of love. Rebecca has an excellent cake recipe.
I think you may have even outdone Rebecca today.
As I have a particular interest in taking the cakes that go to Mr. Corwin, I would like to do that as soon as possible.
I completely understand. I will deliver the rest of them and take care of straightening up here. Samuel left Runner's brother, who looks almost just like him. He would be your best choice to take. His name is Trotter.
I hope when your brother gets married, he lets his wife name the children.
He's not very creative with horse names, is he?
Not really. I will see you at the ordinary when I return. You're as handsome as your brother. Time to get you harnessed. There, now to fasten the buckles. All set. Let's see if we can find our way to Judge Corwin's today. I wonder if Judge Corwin is home.
I remember you. You're the girl who delivered the candles for Rebecca Preston.
Yes, I am. I have brought you the cakes you were expecting.
Well, it's about time. Judge Stoughton and I were just about to go over to the courthouse. If you had been 5 minutes later, you would have had to have returned.
Punctuality is an admirable quality. Make sure you cultivate it in the future.
Thank you, I will.
Well, hand me your basket. These appear satisfactory. Make sure you have delivered my admonition concerning the candles, and I will expect the same delivered next week.
Now be about your errands. Judge Corwin and I are busy men and have no time to waste.
Thank you again. So, Trotter, how long do you think they will be gone? My thoughts exactly. I would dearly like the opportunity to look around Judge Corwin's study for Mr. Bradbury's land grant. It is a chance I think I will take. Well, it is now or never. I'll leave you here, Trotter, and walk back over. Be a good boy and stay quiet. I expect they should leave any moment now. Oh, here they come. I had better stay out of sight. Now, where would he have put that land grant? There's no land grant here. No, no, no! This is not it. It's not here. Where would he have put that? Not what I'm looking for. So many documents, so little time. Where would he have put that? Not what I'm looking for. Who can that be? I really must find that land grant.
What are you doing in my study?
What else would you expect from a witch?
Who can that be?
I told you these documents we would need in court today were here.
It is a good thing you remembered that before we got all the way to the courthouse. By the way, have you spoken to Mrs. Bradbury yet?
Of course. I explained the options to her 2 nights ago. That will give her a couple of days to stew over them before her husband comes with his petition.
What did she say?
She's a tough old bird, but given her options, what choice does she have but to encourage her husband to sign?
Do you think she really believed we would let her go if her husband signed over the land grant?
Certainly. I was very convincing.
Do you have everything arranged to arrest Mr. Bradbury for being a wizard as soon as he has signed?
Everything is at the ready. All Sheriff, my nephew George, will pick him up the moment he leaves this house.
And if he brings this land transfer up at trial?
I have already anticipated that. George is in the process of picking up Mr. Bradbury's granddaughter, Miss True, even as we speak.
A very strategic move.
I thought so. Mr. Bradbury will know that if he does not keep quiet at trial about the land grant, his granddaughter will be the one to pay for his indiscretions.
Then everything is arranged, and I may sleep easy.
Nothing can go amiss now.
I can't believe what I just heard. Corwin plans to have Mrs. Bradbury executed, even if her husband signs over the land grant. Those two have no heart. I have to find that land grant. This could be it. This is it. Judge Corwin will never forge a name to this document now. I dearly wish I could speak with Mrs. Bradbury, but I'm afraid that I will have to wait till tonight. You've been a good boy, Trotter. Let's get back to the ordinary and see if Bethia has any news about Samuel. You're as fine a horse as your brother, Trotter. It's time for you to go back in your stall. You deserve some grain after that outing. Here is some grain for you. The groom will be out shortly to give you a rub down.
Jane, did you have any trouble with Judge Corwin?
Nothing to speak of. He was there with Judge Stoughton, and they were as cordial as ever.
That unpleasant?
How did you guess?
Not much guesswork in their case.
Have you heard anything from Samuel yet?
Nothing yet, but I am sure he will be back this evening.
We only have a small window of time when the groom has gone to the ship's tavern. If Samuel is not back soon, I will leave in the cart and hope for the best.
If it comes to that, I will wait here and let him know what has happened.
It's starting to get dark. I'm going to my room to change, just in case. I wish I could send a letter to my mamma and let her know what is happening, but I daren't reduce this to writing. Now to get ready, just in case. Well, at least Trotter and I will match. With his black coat and my matching cloak, we will be a difficult pair to spot.
You look ready for adventure, but it is a risk.
But a risk worth taking. We have to do what we can.
I wish Samuel would get here.
No more than I. But don't forget, you need to talk with Mr. Bradbury as soon as he comes in and prepare him to leave with Samuel.
Don't worry, I'll handle everything, and as soon as Samuel shows up, I'll send him on to meet you.
Well, 'tis dark now, so I can't wait any longer. I must leave for Corwin's without any further delay.
Godspeed.
Trotter, we have to go out one more time today, and this will be our most dangerous trip yet, but also our most rewarding if we are successful. You're a pretty boy. Time to get you harnessed. All set. Be as stealthy as you can, Trotter. We don't want to alarm anyone. I'm going to bring back Mrs. Bradbury, so you must be quiet for me one more time, Trotter. I hope the groom has found the ship's tavern as enticing tonight as he thought it would be the other afternoon, because if he's here, this is going to be a very short trip. Are you there, Mrs. Bradbury?
Yes, I've been hoping you would come. Someone is coming. Hide!
What are you doing here, young woman?
Someone is coming. Hide!
So, I find you here at night as well as in the day. I see you are safe for the night. With my groom in town, I wanted to assure myself that he had not failed to secure your room.
As you can see, I'm quite safely detained here.
Remember our discussion and what you and your husband must do when he comes tomorrow.
I have not forgotten our discussion.
Very well. I will see you tomorrow.
Are you all right, Mrs. Bradbury?
I am fine. Do you really think this will work?
Before we leave, let's push some straw up into the shape of a person and cover it with your blanket.
Oh, that really looks quite realistic.
Yes, but it needs something. Now that looks perfect.
How did you come to have a bonnet just like the one I wear?
It was a gift from Rebecca Preston. She said it might provide protection in the dark.
It is often said she is foresighted, and that should buy us some time if anyone looks in.
Everything is arranged. Let's make haste before Corwin comes back.
Lead the way. I will follow you.
I have the cart by the woods this way.
I'm right behind you.
I brought a cloak for you as well to keep warm.
That is a comfort.
We are to drive toward the ordinary, and we will be met on the way by Samuel Phipps and your husband, and they will take you to safety in Framingham.
Oh, my husband? That is wonderful.
I should also tell you that I was outside the window and overheard Corwin's offer of clemency in exchange for your husband's land. However, just this afternoon, I overheard Stoughton and Corwin discussing their plan to execute you, even if your husband signs over the land grant.
That is not surprising. I never thought he would let me escape execution.
Well, now it seems he has little to say about that.
I can hardly wait to see my husband. With all this rushing to get away, I still don't know who my savior is.
My name is Jane Darcy, and I am here with Bethia Phipps, the granddaughter of Thomas Danforth.
Mr. Danforth has always been a just man.
Yes, he is, and his grandchildren Samuel and Bethia deserve to be remembered for their part in stopping this madness as well.
Aren't you a nice owl?
He is more than that. He is my lookout. Let's pull over here.
That is surprising.
'Tis an interesting story. Your granddaughter, Miss True, and I were out for a walk the other evening, and we came across this owl, and he appeared to be injured. Janie bent down and placed her hands about him, and then he was better and flew away.
She does seem to have inherited that gift. It is not uncommon in my family, as my grandmother could oftentimes do the same.
It is a wonderful gift.
I do hope Samuel and my husband have not met with any trouble.
As do I. I think I see someone coming. Let's pull over.
I agree. I can't make out who is coming.
Neither can I.
Hello, Jane. I understand you have decided to become a competitor in the cargo hauling business.
Certainly not by choice. I was afraid we wouldn't see you before we got to the ordinary.
Mary, are you all right?
I am fine, especially now that you are here.
Mr. Bradbury, I have serious news for you. Corwin and Stoughton are not as they appear. They have been conspiring to force you to sign over your land grant in Maine in exchange for Mrs. Bradbury's pardon. However, their aims are far more sinister. As soon as you put your signature to the grant, they plan to arrest you and proceed with your wife's execution, using Janie as leverage to enforce your silence at the trial. Your wife can fill you in on the details as you travel.
As we spirited Miss True away to safety last night, their evil plan will never be fulfilled.
Bethia told me all about last night, and our family will always be in debt to both you and Miss Darcy.
We are all so happy to have been able to help you.
We have one problem that I'm not sure how to solve. It seems Runner has pulled a tendon in his right foreleg, and I'm not sure how much further he can go.
Could we exchange Runner and Trotter, and then have you on your way?
I'm not sure that Runner would even be able to pull your cart back to the ordinary.
That's all right. I can walk and lead him.
Before we do that, let me have a look at his leg.
She does have a way with animals sometimes.
It looks fine to me now. Perhaps you are mistaken.
That's amazing. When we looked to him a ways back, I would have thought he couldn't have made it more than another mile at most.
I've seen her do that before, but I am always...
I told Miss Darcy that helping animals does seem to run in our family.
From what I have seen, there's little doubt of that.
Then it looks like we're ready to go.
Oh, I have one more piece of good news for you, Mr. Bradbury. I had the chance to look around Corwin's study this afternoon when he was out, and found your land grant which Stoughton had provided him from the archives in Boston.
This is good news indeed.
With your land grant back in your possession, they have no way forward, so all their schemes have been for naught.
Take care getting back to the ordinary, Miss Darcy.
Just make sure you deliver your cargo safely.
Don't worry about that, I will.
In that case, I am officially out of the cargo business. Here I am again in Boston, having just returned last evening from Salem. Who would have thought so much could have transpired in so few days? I have a great deal to put down, but time and discretion dictate that I wait until my return to Pemberley before giving a full account. One of the most interesting aspects of living in this new world is that it seems to bring out the most evil intents of men, but also the most wondrous gifts of the heart, as demonstrated by extreme kindness and courage. And as is always the case, the good will triumph over the evil. I have already heard that both Corwin and Stoughton are furious, as it seems so many of their plans are coming unravelled. However, the best news is that Mr. Danforth has been working with Governor Phipps and has put in place the structure necessary to dismantle the court of Oyer and Tamina, and in the acceptance of spectral evidence in all forthcoming proceedings. I am quite confident that we have seen the last of the hideous decisions which have led to so much heartbreak and misery for the inhabitants of our new world. It will be interesting to see how future generations will judge what has occurred in Salem, and how those responsible will attempt to hide their culpability. I know that there is much work for Mr. Danforth in the forthcoming months, but I am certain that the ultimate resolution is in good hands, as he is an honest and godly man. I have to close for now, as Mamma is waiting for me, as we will soon be boarding the ship for home. Have no fear, I will not soon forget what has happened the last few days, and will make certain to record everything so at least our family will know what happened.
What an astounding account! Who would have known?
Indeed, I am so glad that my distant aunt preserved what otherwise would have been lost forever. It is actually a wonderful inheritance for everyone in our family.
Yes, a history from a very trying time.
I am so proud that my Aunt Jane accomplished so much by listening to the spirit of her conscience and following through, even when the situation looked most dire. All this excitement I almost forgot. Papa has asked if I could plan a visit to the Cavendishes, which works out perfectly, as I had been hoping to spend some time with our daughter Mariah. It will be so good to visit with Mariah in person. I feel she has much to say which she is not comfortable including in her letters.
Isn't the diamond referred to as the Devil's Heart, owned by the Cavendish family?
Yes, precisely the ones.
I've heard that the Devil's Heart carries a curse.
Yes, I have also heard that. So, if no one minds, I will leave you to a wonderful evening and retire to start putting things together for my upcoming visit and see what I can discover about the curse of the Devil's Heart.